G'day guys, Sean Keenan here from Comics to Movies and more. This is our first creator spotlight episode, but today we're going to start off talking about my project, the Extreme Champion Tournament, which is up on Indiegogo now live, and we're going to run through my campaign for a little bit. I've got Stephen here with me as always, so welcome Stephen, how you going?
I'm good. It's lunchtime here in Australia, so we are in the future. So this is Wednesday. The world hasn't stopped. I know there's times everybody's thinking it's a crazy 2020 is absolutely crazy, but let me assure anybody who's still in Tuesday, Wednesday will come.
That's it. I'm a little bit skeptical of what's going on, especially down here in Victoria. We're looking at a real lockdown at the moment. So, yeah, it's a bit scary. Even though, we are in the future. Be careful of what's to come. So, but yeah, so we're just waiting on our first international guest to join with us. So we will jump over to their project as soon as they jump online. But I thought this might be a great opportunity to talk about the Extreme Champion Tournament, Fractured World, and a little bit about the Indiegogo campaign that I've got going at the moment. So if you don't already know, we did run a Kickstarter campaign for the Extreme Champion Tournament. We raised over $6,000 on that, and we're now doing a Indiegogo campaign for those that don't like to back through Kickstarter or don't have a credit card or prefer to pay through a different method. So the big question I've been getting is with the small goal of only $500, how is this going to be made? So the book is almost finished. This is to help with the printing and postage costs. So the goal is so small because we have already raised some funds for the book. And this is really another opportunity for people that want to grab their hands on the book to get it through Indiegogo, as well as us expand our audience. So I've never done a Indiegogo campaign before, so I thought this would be a really good opportunity to do that. So let's get started. So the goal is $500 Australian. So that works out to be about, I think, $375 US or just under. We've got 3 backers so far for $110, so we're almost quarter of the way there, with 12 days left. Now, a lot of people, if you haven't heard of XC2 or the Extreme Champion Tournament, it's based in the year 2069, where history's greatest figures of myth and legends have been brought back to life to fight and die in the arena. This book, Fractured World, is a 64-page full-coloured graphic novel, and it is the second graphic novel in the series, with us producing 5 single issues, the graphic novel Breakout, and now Fractured Worlds is after this. Now, that can be a little bit scary for people jumping into a series halfway through or things like that, but this is a really great opportunity because it's a really good jumping on point, because it takes the action outside of the arena, and it takes on all of the characters from that point. So if you don't want to sorry guys, I've got my little girl here with me, so she's talking to me while I'm going through this stuff. Stephen, I'll throw it over to you for a sec, mate, while I get my little girl out of here, please.
That's fine. And look, that's life with live streams. But XCT, it's a lot of fun. I have read through the series. It's all good. The whole idea behind it is a lot of past historical figures. We're talking Leonidas, we're talking Spartacus, we're talking all these, and not just that, they're cloning dragons, they're cloning all this mythical beast, and basically they put into gladiatorial combat where for our amusement. So the story does take a really fun turn. Like Sean said, you've got PDFs on almost every level, as well as you can get the entire back catalog.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. The beauty of going live and having everyone working from home at the moment is sometimes they decide to jump in on meetings and live streams. So, but yeah, thanks, Stephen, for picking up there. But you can check out our campaign. There's 5 pages on there for you to have a look at to see whether you like the style. The rewards start as low as $9 for the graphic novel, or the whole collection, which is about 300 pages, for $35 if you want to catch up. As well as we've got the whole standard and incentive collection as well to deliver for you. But really excited about this. Really excited to get this into people's hands. Check it out, please. And we have now had our guest arrive. So, welcome.
Hello, how's it going? Sorry I'm late. I was with Art T Bear and then and Brian Krishkow and Simon Portier. As Brian and Simon, they're regulars. We do the indie comics interviews right before your show started, and that we kind of went a little over because we kind of Art is a legend. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and so it was a real pleasure to have him on the show. And we kind of lost track of time, and we were like, oh, we had the 2 books to promote, so we're all going off on chroma mechanics because again, it got into some of the stuff that I nerd out on because quantum mechanics and physics are hobbies of mine. So I started really nerding out on timelines and alternative timelines and how things break and how this stuff works and there's different story ideas and he's mentioned that he's open to to having some writers work on future projects, and I lit up with a million ideas. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, really? Because I would love to write for this.
Will you pick me, please?
Oh, it was all oh, well, that it was hard to fight back the ideas. You know what I mean? It was just a flood of all kinds of really cool ideas that I'm going to have to just throw him 100 pitches so he picks one of them and lets me write one of his stories. So.
Before we dive,
thank you for making the time to jump on then, because I can always understand. When you're in that space, it's hard to kind of take a step back and jump back into something else when your mind's racing like that all the time. I get that always just before I'm about to go to sleep. I have 100 ideas and I'm like, I need to get up and write these down because I'm not going to sleep anyway, type of thing.
Dude, it's the worst when you have a lot to do. You know what I mean? Like stuff that you have to do to pay the bills. You know what I mean? Say you have a list of things. I have to get this done, this done, this done. And you got these responsibilities. I got to mow the lawn. I got to do the dishes. I got to feed the cats. You know what I mean? You got this whole list of things you got to do. And then you're getting ready to do all this stuff. All of a sudden you get a great idea. You're like, okay, I'm just going to stop and I'm just going to tweak this idea a little bit. 4 hours later.
Hours later.
You know what I mean?
It's 100% know that. So I always say I'm not going to start something new until I've finished what I've done. Yeah, that never happens. Sometimes you just have that inspiration and you just got to run with it.
Well, I find that my most creative time, my most flexible brain time is right after I wake up in the morning. And if I take the time to sit down and devote it to myself, bring my guitar out and play, or try to write something for Captain Love, or or something for a screenplay for a movie I work on, or you know what I mean, something like something creative. You know what I mean? It's that's for me, you know what I mean? But then other times when I have stuff that I have to get done, I my bread and butters, I do high-end web programming and marketing and consulting and that kind of stuff. So sometimes I'll have to do that work in the morning first thing when I get up, because that's when I'm the most fresh, the most productive. And then I find that like I have to work really hard to not distract myself from that stuff, because it's so easy to do something that you want to do versus what you have to do. You know what I mean? And
Spot on.
And then when you have a lot of stuff you have to do, sometimes it chokes out your ability to do what you want to do. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you really have to get this crap done so that you can focus cleanly on the stuff that you want to do. Otherwise, it's like you're like, okay, well, I just don't feel right writing this right now, and then I'll, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah.
Oh, we know it's. I can 100% empathize with you. Oh, look, I've just give you hello to everybody in the chat. I've shared all the links to both your Captain Love campaigns, and I've also shared the link to Art's project as well. So if anybody wants to check out any of Art's stuff, look, Art's fantastic. His artwork is amazing.
Art's a legend. Well. He has been an active comic book illustrator since the early 80s. So he has, yeah, he is
40 years a campaign.
Well,
wow.
I mean, almost, yeah. I mean, you know what I mean? He's like, he was there when Image started. You know what I mean? He was, doing stuff at, I mean, I actually like cannot do his resume justice. You know what I mean? Because there's like so much that I haven't been able to ask and dig into yet. I mean, I could Google him and like read it, you know what I mean? And that kind of stuff. But it's like, I mean, he has worked on so many projects and that I'm not even aware of yet. Because tomorrow on Archie Bear's channel on 2 o'clock Pacific time, 5 o'clock Eastern time, the team from Indie Comics Interviews is moving over to his channel to finish our interview, where we're going to focus on asking him the stuff about him and not his books, because we didn't get time for it. So we're actually going to be doing that. So he invited us over to pick his brain on history and what it was like to be there at the beginning of Image and all that kind of stuff, because those are the fun questions. You know what I mean? Today we're focused on moving books. We were making sure that we could sell some books.
That's it. And that's it.
His black and white campaign only has 4 days left. This is important. That book is a second chance thing that he's doing right now, and there's probably not going to be a third chance. And there's 4 days left, and that's going to be it. I mean, if you want to follow that series, which sounds really cool, black and white, they're vigilante robot hunters. It's going to be kind of cool if you like sci-fi and you like morality plays and that kind of stuff in your comics. This is the book for you. Definitely, if you're into that, go check out Black and White. It's on Indiegogo right now. There's 4 days left. It's well priced, and it'll start shipping as soon as it gets back from the printer, because it's already drawn. It's just it's another chance of an existing release. So
awesome. But let's talk about you. Let's
okay.
Art's link in the thing. We're always happy to show Art. He's fantastic. I've put his link through. But let's talk about you. You've got 2 in-demand projects right now. One of them is the Hero of the Cleansing, and the other one is Chapter 1. Which video do you want us to play?
Let's do Chapter 1, because I that one's the song. So.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Make sure you put your audio on. Just warn.
Yeah, I always seem to forget that. That's one of the. I had the. Can we do the other one first? Because I've got that one ready to.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, the other one's kind of irrelevant, because all it does is that same explanation of Captain Love that exists in that one actually exists in the other one as well. But
okay,
you can. It's no problem. Whichever one you want to play first, if you want to play them both.
Let's do. Make sure I tick the audio.
And speaking while we're waiting for that to come up, the Rise of the Pirate King Chapter 1 is. Rise of the Pirate King Chapter 1 is in demand right now, but Chapter 2 campaign is going to start very soon. So as soon as Chapter 1 fulfills, Chapter 2 is going to start its campaign. So you're going to want to get on that Chapter 1 right away, because I may be pulling stuff off that campaign as soon as I start shipping, like things like, you know, posters and variants and stuff like that. They're going to go away. So.
Oh, perfect. All right, well, let me play this one, and I'll get the other one up and ready.
All right.
Captain Love is a space trucker and former war hero. Accompanied by a rogue artificial intelligence named Spade, he reluctantly finds himself on adventures that could affect the course of the solar system. Captain Love, the hero of the cleansing, is 72 beautiful full-color pages and the first book in an ongoing series featuring Captain Love. It is the story of how Spade and Love meet. This story also explains the legend surrounding Captain Love and how he became the hero of the cleansing. This is the essential book in the Captain Love series. Captain Love, the hero of the cleansing, is completed and ready to print. Delivery is guaranteed, and the product will begin shipping at the end of the crowdfunding campaign. You'll fall in love with love. This book is rated mature. There is sex, violence, profanity, nudity, and other mature themes. This book is not designed for children. You'll fall in love with love.
That's is
cool.
great. I absolutely love that. That voiceover is amazing. So
Yeah, that's the Red Gaze doing the voiceover for me.
that is
It's
awesome.
perfect for it. So just
Yeah,
a couple of questions then.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're going to bring chapter 2. Is there a pre-launch page ready for it? Can we start showing?
I have not created the pre-launch page yet because I kind of wait until the pre-launch page comes until I get the physical books ready to start shipping. So I don't want to start promoting chapter 2 as an active thing to go to until people start seeing books in their hands. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm going to wait until like the first person receives their book, and then the pre-launch page will go up, and then I'll wait about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'll launch the campaign. Yeah.
I'm also assuming like there'll be some rewards for chapter 1 that will not be in chapter 2. But if say if somebody comes in a little bit later down the track, or they watch this video 2 months later, will they still have a chance to buy a print copy of chapter 1 with chapter 2? Are you planning to do that, or just chapter 2?
So here's the current plan. Right now, I'm going to be when chapter 1 fulfills, when the fulfillment starts, I'm going to take off all of the variant cover stuff, because there's a variant cover of the volume 1 Hero of the Cleansing book that done by Vinny Tartamella. I'm going to be pulling that off. I'm going to pull there's also a poster off. And the reason why I'm pulling that off is because I only got enough to fulfill the people that ordered on this. I thought there might be more, but there wasn't enough. So I did a very, very limited run. There's only going to be 100 total of those done. And so I'm going to be pulling that off because it's not going to be available anymore. And during this part. So if you're going to want, so after, it's like right now you can get it, right now you can order it, but as like it should be here. I'm actually expecting my shipment to arrive on the 16th. So that's 2 days from now. And then I'll probably be ready to start shipping on the next day, which would be, the 2 days, it's the Wednesday, Thursday. So I probably start shipping Friday, if not Monday, you know what I mean? So it's probably going to be right before I start shipping, but either Friday or Monday, I'm yanking all those off of the campaign. So they're no longer going to be available. And then I'm going to put the poster probably on the second campaign with another poster, and so you can get them together as a deal. You know what I mean? And because the reason why I'm doing it that way is because posters cost more to ship than they do to make. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Especially the mailing tubes and all that.
The mailing tube itself is $1. You know what I mean? And then the shipping it is close to $5 on top of that. So it's roughly, it's close to $6 just actual physical shipping cost, not to mention the time that you actually have to do to package it up, and then the what you have to figure in loss and all that kind of stuff on top of all that. So there, I'm not really making much on the posters on the thing, so I'm going to be yanking those off of chapter 1 as well. So the only thing that'll be available on chapter 1 will be the actual chapter 1 book, because obviously it'll be shipping immediately. And then I'm kind of debating whether or not I'm going to leave the executive producer tier on the chapter 1 book tier, campaign for a while, because I decided that I'm not going to be moving the executive producer to chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. I'm not going to run it the whole campaign. I thought that I might do it, but I decided against it. And the reason why is there was a lot of interest, but I decided that I want to keep that interest when on the start of the campaigns. You know what I mean? Now chapter 1, will still exist as an in-demand thing, and then chapter 2, obviously you have to wait until it fulfills, to get it when chapter 2 comes out, and then you can do a package deal, like where you can save money on the shipping by ordering chapter 1 with chapter 2, but you'll have to wait until chapter 2 ships. You know what I mean? So if you want chapter 1 immediately, you can just get it on the chapter 1 in demand, and then get your chapter 2 and wait for that, if that's how you want to do it. I probably will still have some executive producer tiers on a secret link for people that ask for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm going to leave it on the chapter 1 probably for a little bit to see if there's still interest at the chapter 2 level. And the reason why I'm not going to move to chapter 2 is because obviously chapter 1 is done. So if you order the executive producer, you know what I mean, you want to get chapter 1 shipped out right away. You know what I mean? So it's going to sit on there with the chapter 1, so it'll ship immediately, and then chapter 2 you'll get that when it does that. But the reason why I decided I pulling it off is because, like, say if I put it on the second one or the third one, it'll get confusing for me to track who didn't get what stretch goals. You know what I mean? Because you're on the second tier, you don't get the stretch goals from the first one. If you're on the third one, when you get executive producer, you wouldn't get the stretch goals from the second one and the first one. And I'm like, you know what? That's going to be a logistical nightmare if it gets to like 500 people. You know what I mean? It was, I think it would. So I decided that if I'm doing the executive producer, I'll keep it running on the first campaign. And because I'm working a system here that I'm going to recreate over and over and over. I mean, I sold a lot of those executive producers. It's good, it's a severe discount for anybody who's planning to get all 6 chapters and the final graphic novel anyway. I recommend buying that one because you're going to save money across the spectrum. You know what I mean? It's like that's $100, and that's with all the shipping included. You know what I mean? Unless you're out of the country, you guys are, Australia, obviously, there's shipping charges. You know what I mean? I do, but I still discount. I still discount what domestic shipping would be off of the international thing. So like you guys would still get some kind of discount on the shipping, but it's one of those things where it makes sense to do it this way. But I thought it would have gone over better. Like it would have made more sense if I got like 600 people to back it, at the executive producer level, and that didn't happen. So it's going to be, I'm going to feel it out as I go along on the executive producer. I decided that I am always going to do it. I may not have the same price point that I have. I might actually charge more for future executive producers on future campaigns. You know what I mean? But overall, I'm always going to have that option where, like on the first campaign, you're able to back the entire book and all the campaigns, because I like that. It's like if people know they're going to want the whole thing, give them a subscription style method, and then until I actually develop like an actual subscription based model for people who just want to work off of the campaign structure entirely and just come to me direct. You know what I mean? And I have like a product they can just buy direct off of all campaigns, and they're like, just we just want everything you're producing, just put us down for a subscription.
Totally understand. Look, we've got a couple of Australian creators who I know are there. They said hi already. So let's just play the thing that these are people who have never seen Captain Love before. Let's bring up the campaign page, Sean, if we can.
Yep.
Look, what the big 2 questions always are. Look, the artwork's fantastic. We saw it from the trailer. Let's bring up the big 2 questions. can you tell us the story, and can you tell us about the lead character? Because I think that's who's Captain Love? How do we relate to him?
Okay.
There you go. The question's there. And the next one would be, tell us a bit about the story.
Okay. Well, Captain Love is a space trucker and former war hero. Basically, he is, inspired by Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, James Bond, Han Solo. My favorite heavy metal stories growing up. There's a little bit of Captain Kirk. There's a little bit of, there's so many like influences that go into the character. He's like everything that of all my favorites. I try to combine it into one person.
So he's just like this rogue. He's just like, he won't play by the rules all the time. He's not a Picard, I assume.
Yeah, he's definitely not a Picard. He's more of a Kirk than a Picard for sure. He would, in fact, the Jonathan Frakes character would be more associated to Love than Picard would, if you wanted to, to use the Next Generation as a reference. He'd be way more. Number one.
He's more William Riker than
he's way more Riker than Picard. But I wouldn't even really put him, because Riker's still a lot more straight laced. Love is a heavy drinker. His order at a bar, every bar is a double, and they're like, and then they're like, well, a double what? And he's like, the strongest shit you got. You know what I mean? It's like, he just wants to forget the pain that he's experiencing it all the time. And I mean, if you read the first book, the Hero of the Cleansing, you understand that he's actually kind of a tragic character. And it goes with his legendary status, as he fell in love with a voodoo princess who he lost. You know what I mean? And he lost her while he was still in love with her. And she actually prayed to the voodoo goddess to watch out over him so that he could always come back to her as long as he loved her. Well, since she died while he was still in love with her, right, it's kind of like this immortality aspect where it's a legendary, like obviously it's not proven because he's not old enough to have lived forever. You know what I mean? So it's just that he hasn't died yet, so it's kind of like a rumorish legendary status that's kind of unproven.
We've got a question from Hex Allen, actually. Sean, can you pop that one up? He said he's stalking you, of course.
Yes.
But we want to talk about bad guys, and I think that's an interesting segue. Let's talk about the antagonist. So, who is Captain Love fighting against? What's the conflict?
In the Hero of the Cleansing, the antagonist is the Executive General, but there's not just the one antagonist; he's just the head antagonist. The corporation more or less is the antagonist, but the Executive General is in charge of the forces that are leading the cleansing, which is the battle of the planets, the battle between the corporation and the planets. And then the corporation is basically trying to get control of all commerce, so that because they're greedy like that. They want it all for themselves. They want to have all control over it. I don't want to get too much into the weeds on that, like why they decided that and how they decided that, and what is going on there, because that's the fun part of the story. But basically, Venus is the pleasure planet, and then Hex Allen's a great dude. He actually did some great fan art of Captain Love, and he and I are talking about possibly getting him started giving him a chance to try out for another project that I'm going to be doing starting in a few months. That's still kind of semi-top secret. So
I do love how he admits that he's stalking you, though. That's always nice.
I recommend that people stalk me, especially online. It helps. It helps.
Oh, awesome. Oh, look, so usual spiel. If you haven't checked out Captain Love, is it Return of the Pirate King? I just want to make sure.
No,
right?
Rise of the Pirate King is the current book in progress right now. And then, so what I do is I actually have the chapters done before I start the campaign. So obviously, chapter 1 is not just done; it's actually at the printers and waiting for it to be, and it's actually done being printed. They're actually in the shipping process back to me right now, and so that's going to make fulfillment on schedule. And then chapter 2 is also done as far as illustration and colors, and it's in the lettering process, which I do. So I'm lettering it right now. Well, not right now, but in current time.
Of course.
Yeah. And then chapter 3 is that campaign will not launch till next year because of all Christmas time and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, but when I launch chapter 3, it will also be, to the point to where the lettering stage at minimum. And then, so the beautiful thing is that I plan to try next year and this is going to be a challenge because I haven't seen anybody do this yet. And that's actually do 4 books, 4 chapters in a single year. So I'm going to be doing, hopefully.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's a huge goal, and I just wish you all the best. I just hope you don't go nuts. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, well, the work part is not the part that scares me. The campaign part, the part that scares me, because it's like no one's done that much overload on that many campaigns. You know what I mean? Even though they're well priced and they're all companions to the previous campaign. It's just it hasn't been done. So how it's going to work out is anybody's guess. You know what I mean? I don't have high profile YouTubers, high profile comic creators, guys with followings of hundreds of thousands of people to help me push it. So it's all going to be heavy lift on my own. So everybody who's watching and listening, please back Rise the Pirate King. Every chapter, back it twice, back it thrice, give it away as Christmas presents, give it away as birthday presents, hassle your kindergarten teacher with it. I don't care. I need your help so that I can keep this thing going. You know what I mean? I'm going to keep it going anyway. So I need your help to keep me out of the poorhouse in the progress of keeping it going.
Look, that's so awesome. Look, and we really wish you all the best on this. And I don't think it's too. I take back what I said. It is a lot of work and it's ambitious. But guess what? It's actually not too bad in terms of, say, a quarterly book. I suppose the only thing which, and again, it's an opinion, so take it whichever way you will. As long as you're fulfilling, I think people are forgiving. It's if you like hypothetically, if you start your second or third campaign and campaign 1 hasn't fulfilled, I think that will impact the next 2. But like you said, you've got it figured out. You're fulfilling. As long as people are getting their books, I would be more than happy to back 4 campaigns as long as I've got all the books before the next campaign start, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I definitely will have the fulfillment before the campaign starts. And like I said, I intend to have it starting to fulfill before I even launch the pre-campaign. You know what I mean? For every book. So, that's where it's going to be a challenge. Like next year, I'm not going to be doing 60-day campaigns and then, a month to fulfill. It's going to be probably 30 to 45-day campaigns with, roughly a month to fulfill and start mailing list. But, I gotta make sure that I have everything done, and timed out right. And, like this time I made a couple of mistakes as far as like planning ahead, and it stalled out what I was doing. I got to make sure that I don't make those mistakes again.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? And so that's just so I can make my timeline. You know what I mean? I still won't start a thing until it's fulfilled. But if I want to do 4 books in a year, on a quarters, then I got to not drop the ball on myself so I can make that timeline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, myself personally, I've started to drop my campaigns back to about the 21-day mark for that exact reason. One, to keep on the momentum. So, you're letting people go, hey, back early. I think with Indiegogo, it's a little bit easier with in demand afterwards, so that if people do miss that initial one, you can still get the in demand. But doing 4 in a year, that's impressive, man. That's yeah.
Well, the in demand is why it's going to work for me, because obviously I won't get to like every penny I need out the gate. But this is what I'm thinking is like if I have like Hero of the Cleansing, the first novel, I still have a few hundred books. You know what I mean? That I can sell. You know what I mean? I have less than 100 variants. You know what I mean? So that's going to, like, when those are gone, that variant option is going to be gone. I might even yank it before I'm all the way out. And then when I'm out of the actual first run of the books, that I'm going to shut that down. There's not going to be, anymore. I'm not going to, like, when I do a reprint, it's not going to be sold through the Indiegogo campaign. You know what I mean? I will print the book again, but it won't be sold through Indiegogo. You know what I mean? It won't be. So if you want to get it, it'll either be an option on a future campaign, possibly, or, Amazon or something like that, some other way to get it. And then, but then I'll have, chapter 1 will be available, chapter 2, and then when it moves to a chapter 3 position and the chapter 3 fulfills, I may end up dropping the chapter 1 campaign and moving chapter 1 to chapter 2. So you can only get those together or separate, on that one campaign. And then when chapter 4, launches, and, I'll move chapter 2 books to chapter 3. You know what I mean? So there'll be one campaign that you can get the floppies that are available, while you're, in case you just discovered it, so that, again, the reason is that I don't want to have people deal with the shipping costs here. I mean, even though the shipping costs are built into the tiers, you know what I mean? It's like, it seems kind of rude to make people pay full price for everything here and a full price for everything here.
Of course.
When I'm going to ship them together, you know what I mean? So, so it's, I have a strategy to my madness.
That's great.
So look, if you're, by the sounds of it, if you're a fan of sci-fi series like Firefly, Serenity, The Expanse, I think, look, Captain Love will be right up your alley. If you like the
and for the people who are real good nerds, Firefly and Serenity are the same thing.
Oh, oh man. I'll give my nerd card. I'll return it to you. I'm just ashamed. Thank God I'm not a.
Because Serenity is the movie, Firefly is the series.
I know. I just realized if you can see my face, it's red. I'm gonna look.
You can't even use the excuse that it's late at night, Stephen, either,
I
because it's the middle of the day here.
I know. Oh look. Thank you so much for coming up. Look, we have to wrap up because. It's the middle of the day, so both of us actually have to get back to work right now. But look, thank you so much for coming on. Captain Love, guys, make sure you back it. Make sure you share it. Make sure everybody finds out about it. And Drew, look, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And anytime you guys want to have me on again, and then hey, Stephen, when we should have you on your on again to before your campaign closes. So you come on my channel again and reach out again.
Well, thank you. Oh look, and Sean's running XCT as well, so I will.
That's what you guys were showing when I popped in, right?
Yeah. So that's Sean's campaign. So
maybe we can get you guys to come on the same night. You know what I mean?
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Look, thank you so much. And look, we'll definitely be talking more. Unfortunately, we do have to wrap up because it's closing up. Our lunchtime is finishing off. So talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thanks. Okay, bye.
Bye.